I'm brought to you by Firehouse Doors, celebrating their 25th year of serving Livingston County. There's some new things going on at Cooper and Binkley Jewelers. We're going to tell you about that in just a few minutes. First, though, a look at local news, brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers.
Indeed, it is.
Where's the Indeed Cup?
No, we're done with the Indeed Cup.
Yeah, you didn't really.
No, I would be broke right now.
Yes.
So,
you were broke before.
What are you talking about?
Let's do the news.
Here's what's going on. For the second time in less than 24 hours, police in Livingston County were involved in a high-speed pursuit, although this time the suspects were taken into custody. According to the Livingston County Sheriff's Office, at approximately 1:20 Wednesday morning, deputies were informed of a Toyota Tundra that fled from a state police trooper when they attempted to conduct a traffic stop for not displaying a license plate while traveling westbound on I-96. A Livingston County deputy spotted the vehicle later on 96 during D19. The deputy activated their emergency lights, but the Toyota continued to flee at speeds of up to 110 miles per hour on 96 before exiting at M59, heading eastbound on M59 at, again, a high rate of speed, and then north on Ladson Road. Deputies continued to follow the vehicle down several dirt roads before the Toyota began driving through yards near Antcliff Road and Steinecker Road. While the deputies did not follow the Toyota into the yards, they eventually did find it unoccupied at a property near Antcliff and Pioneer Drive in Iosco Township. Deputies searched the Toyota and located several stolen guns and a bulletproof vest. They searched the area but could not locate the driver. About an hour later, though, a trooper from the Brighton Post went into the Mug and Bops on Oak Grove Road and Sanford Road, where the clerk informed them a male fitting the description of the possible driver was in the bathroom. Additional troopers and deputies responded. They took the man into custody without incident. The 35-year-old Lansing man had several warrants for his arrest, including one out of Lansing for felony armed robbery. The incident remains under investigation. Wednesday's arrest, by the way, followed a high-speed chase early Tuesday through Livingston County in which the suspects got away. They are still being sought. In that case, a deputy observed the two vehicles, a black Dodge pickup and a white Jeep Wrangler, again, speeding along westbound 96 about 3 o'clock Tuesday morning. A registration plate was obtained by the Jeep. It was reported stolen out of Southfield. The deputy attempted to stop the vehicles, but they continued increasing their speed and passing each other. They exited 96 at Fowlerville Road, traveling north, taking side streets until they reached Grand River, then heading back east towards Howell. They then re-entered 96 and exited at Pinckney Road, heading north into the city. At that point, City of Howell police units joined in the pursuit, and the vehicles were lost after crossing the railroad tracks at Michigan Avenue north of Mason Road. Shortly afterwards, Livingston County Central Dispatch received a call saying that somebody had observed multiple people running down Brayview Drive. Howell units responded and located the Dodge Ram pickup running with the doors open. Upon checking, it was also reported stolen. A perimeter was set up and a K-9 team was brought in, but they were unable to locate the suspects. That investigation is continuing. And on Tuesday, in one of its first votes since Republicans took control of the U.S. House of Representatives, the House overwhelmingly approved the creation of a select committee on China in an effort to counter Beijing's growing influence. The vote was 365 to 65 in favor of a resolution establishing the Select Committee on the Strategic Competition between the United States and Chinese Communist Party that will investigate the issues and make policy recommendations. All 65 of those voting against the committee were Democrats, many of whom said they had concerns the Republican-led panel would be too partisan. But 146 other Democrats voted in favor of creating the committee, including Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin, who said she had voted to create the committee because, in her estimation, the Chinese Communist Party, quote, is a threat to our national and economic security, and Congress's response has often been disjointed and inconsistent. She said the committee is an opportunity to bring together all the resources, expertise, and testimony needed to look comprehensively at the issues the U.S. has with the Chinese government, and the committee's work should be done in a serious and respectful way. And that's what's going on.
And news brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. They're in a league of their own when it comes to customer service, quality merchandise, selection, and of course, price ranges. Something for everyone and something new at Cooper. I should say someone new at Cooper and Binkley Jewelers. They're thrilled to welcome Holly Schaefer, who is a CGA. Do you know what a CGA is?
I don't.
Well, I'm going to tell you what a CGA is. CGA is a certified gemologist appraiser.
Well, yeah, clearly.
Every first and third Thursday. So not today, but next Thursday, Holly will be in the store for appraising of your jewelry. And then the first and third Thursday of every month at Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. Just another way that Cooper and Binkley does more for their customers. Stop by and see them today in downtown Brighton or online, cooperandbinkleyjewelers.com. Or, of course, their Facebook page, Cooper and Binkley Jewelers.
Right. That's where you learned what CGA meant.
Exactly. There's a whole bio of Holly
Right.
on here that tells about her background. 27 years, so they're not just picking somebody off the street and saying, hey, just tell us what you think this watch is worth. Not a guy opening up his jacket and saying, hey, how's about a watch? No.
If anyone walks up to you and opens up their jacket, I would suggest you just turn around and go the other way.
Call
Honestly,
911.
yeah, I would not. It's not the way to go.
So a lot of responses yesterday in our news story on our Facebook page,
Right.
regarding Bed Bath & Beyond closing down here in Livingston County.
Right. It's one of 10 locations across the state that'll be closing this year. And the store is likely to, the chain is likely to declare bankruptcy. They've been hemorrhaging hundreds of millions of dollars. Brick and mortar stores just aren't doing well. Thank you, Amazon. It's the Amazon effect. I mean, really, honestly, that's just the reality.
Well, I think Bed Bath & Beyond, even before COVID and before Amazon became the thing to go to, or even some of these ordering, even Walmart and some of the other stores that are delivering groceries to your home or needs to your home.
Well, what is Bed Bath & Beyond going to deliver? You know, they have that little section with all the as seen on TV, chia pets and.
Well, that's
I need a chia pet. I need it this afternoon.
I need a quick chia. Well, and there used to be a store, as seen on TV store at the mall,
right,
years ago, and it was like, oh, well, there was some of the stuff you hadn't seen on TV. Maybe it was just for late night customers. I'm not sure, or late night viewers, but those were kind of niche-y things that we were like, oh, that's kind of neat. Now you can find that at Walmart or any other store. So, it's unfortunate another business going
right.
down, but it does happen.
Right. Maybe they could cushion the blow with their pillows.
They don't sell those anymore.
Yeah. We had there were some interesting, you mentioned the comments, and there were some
comments.
interesting theories as to why. It was like, wow,
we'll say interesting.
I didn't realize this was political.
No.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
If Joe Biden would have shopped there more, they'd have been open. But apparently, it had the Biden effect.
It was interesting. I mean, people are funny.
Yeah, they are.
So, nonetheless.
Want to get to trivia before we call
Yeah,
Rich
I think we've got a few minutes here. So
last night in Wednesday night trivia, 86% of men say they couldn't live without one of these.
Right.
Couldn't live without one of these.
And of course, trivia brought to you by Tanya Zirkle with Remax Platinum. Her motto: "Comfort is the key to home."
And what was the first thing that popped into your head? Because this is a lot of times that's what people put in, and sometimes that's a great way to go with the first thing that pops into your head.
Yeah.
I thought a car. But that's just me.
Yeah.
A couple, not just me. A few people said vehicles, cars.
That was sort of a popular answer, eh?
Tracy said a best friend. Sherry said a grill.
That's nice.
That's nice. He's got a best friend.
That's nice. No, but I get it, yeah.
A beer, said Madonna. Chris said a woman. Katie said a hoodie.
Right. Sue Ellen said air conditioner.
Yeah, I like that.
Which, I definitely identified with that because I've always said I'd be a horrible, horrible pioneer. If I had to live back in the pioneer days, I would have headed out of, St. Louis in my Conestoga wagon. I would have gotten about, maybe half a mile.
It's too hot.
I've been like, oh my God, it's so hot. Turn around.
We need an air conditioner. Somebody would just invent that for me.
It's so hot.
Kendra said a living room chair designated for him, like a recliner, used only by him.
Wow.
Wow, that is specific, isn't it?
I wonder if that's a little passive aggressive.
Stay out of his chair. He gets mad. Ken nailed it with a remote. That's a great guess. Some guys can't live without that remote.
Well,
let's see. A job, said Pat. Electric razor.
Get a job.
A wallet. Need a place to hold your stuff. Beverly said a partner. Jeff said a refrigerator. Whitney said a gun or a hunting weapon.
Right. 86% of men. That's a pretty high percentage, though. I mean, for well, maybe around here.
Helen said a brain.
Again, that's a high percentage.
There's some of you a question. Yeah. Ronald said a microwave oven. A map, said Julie.
Yeah.
I don't think guys use maps.
Greg said a 10-millimeter socket,
hey,
to which Joey responded,
that's true.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, you need a 10-millimeter.
Now, because the 10-millimeter, that's the one that's like right in between the two sizes, isn't it? Like if you get the
standard or
standard,
the metric,
yeah, and there's always, and you go to get, and you're like, wait,
this
but these two
doesn't
don't.
quite
This is too
fit.
loose. This is not big enough. And then it's the 10-millimeter.
They should just sell like a 12-pack of 10-millimeter.
Right.
Sockets.
So the thing
therefore
is,
you have one wherever you're at.
Right. I mean, and I have two socket sets because I have to have one that, and frankly, it's just to have that 10-millimeter one because it's the one that fits right in between.
It just does.
Yeah.
Because don't go anywhere without your 10-millimeter.
I'm sorry.
Socket.
Joe even said, "Don't get me started."
Yeah.
And here I got started.
And you did. Mark said a television, which is a great guess.
Wendy said their mother. Yeah. Mommy.
That reminds me, I got to call my mom.
Yeah, call your mom, will you?
Call mom.
All right.
After show. Got that. A hobby, said Jordan.
Molly said stripper dollars. So, Molly is
just $1?
Apparently hanging out with Brandon.
Let's see. A can opener, said Kelly. When's the last time you used a can opener?
Not that long ago.
For me, it's been a long
time. I mean, they have the Pop Tops now, but not all of them do. Like if you buy the generic, like Meyer green beans or whatever, they won't have the Pop Top necessarily. Sometimes they do.
Maybe you got to go top shelf when it comes to your beans.
Sometimes they don't. Yeah. So I got to get out my can openers, get the big knob on it because I'm old. I had to use. We all grew up with a standard can opener. If you remember the old, just metal can opener that had the little.
It didn't have the grippy part.
Big grippy part. No. And not that long ago, like less than a year ago, I forgot under what circumstance, but I had to use one of those to open a can, and I'm like, oh my God, how do you open these cans?
Our family, when I was growing up, my mom had an electric one. And sometimes, you had to get it just right. So it go, and then you had to have your hand on the can, otherwise your can's dropping down, and once the lid is taken care of, and you're losing half your product.
Right, and then all the cats are around your feet.
Don't have cats. If there's cats in your house,
if they're even in the neighborhood and they hear that thing, they find a way.
I hear a can opener.
Yeah. So.
Pamela got our right answer though, which was a dishwasher.
Yeah.
86% of guys said they couldn't live without a dishwasher.
Now, is this guys that are living on their own?
I don't know.
Well,
because most guys, if you're living on your own, chances are the sink's pretty full.
It could be. I mean, when I was a younger lad, before I was married, I used to have that sink half full. Like half the sink was full of dishes, and I would just lay a towel over all the.
People are coming over.
Oh, I got guests coming. I'll just
somebody's knocking at the door.
Or if I really want to get fancy, I'd put them in the stove, take all the dirty dishes. I mean, sure, I could have washed them, but I wasn't going to do that. I mean, what am I, nuts?
Did you not have a dishwasher?
No.
See, you could have used one.
I was the dishwasher, and I didn't want to do that.
I was underpaid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks to everybody that chimed in on our trivia, and thanks to Tanya Z for sponsoring.
Right. You can find her online at soldbytanyaz.com or email her soldbytanyaz@gmail.com.
Firehouse Doors celebrating 25 years of serving Livingston County, and this month, if you need service or a new garage door, mention Mike and John, and you'll get $25 off that service call. And be listening for some additional silver anniversary promotions, which are coming soon.
Right. So $25 off a service call in the month of January. Plus, you have a chance to win a $500 gift card.
How do I do that, John?
Courtesy of Firehouse Doors. All you have to do is enter anytime in the month of January at mikeandjohnpodcast.com.
And today's the 12th, so you still have time.
Enter our contest giveaway there. And Wednesday, February 1st, we will draw out a winner. It's just that simple. And you will win a $500 gift card, courtesy of Firehouse Doors, all to celebrate their 25th anniversary serving Livingston County residents.
Call Firehouse Doors today, 810-599-7480. And speaking of calls, Rich Perlberg joining us for the less you know, as he usually does on Thursdays. And now we're calling from my phone, so he may not answer.
Right.
Remember last week, we used your phone.
Good morning, Mike and John.
See, there he is.
You noticed he recognized the number. Good morning, Rich.
Oh, yeah, I recognized it, and I still answered. How's
I
that?
know,
Right.
that's the thing. Hey, before we get going here, did you hear about Harbaugh talking with
Did I hear about
Denver?
Jim Harbaugh apparently looking to maybe get 2 men in a truck and head on out to Denver.
Rocky Mountain
what?
High?
Yeah, and that's expected because he said last year, guess what? I'm going to keep looking at the NFL.
Yeah.
Nope, he said just the opposite.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
I'm Michigan man for
He
life.
said this
or
will not be an annual thing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, every other year.
I think he's so I could say he's a lying, sack of crap,
Right.
but I won't.
No.
Let me.
I'm too big a man to say that.
Well,
Yes,
of course
you
you
are.
are.
So-
And before we move on to our topic, I just on the Harbaugh thing, I just want to ask you though, if he had won the big game, and gotten to the national championship and even presumably won it, do you think this would be occurring?
Yeah.
You still think it would? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean-
I don't think. One, I think they probably would have lost to Georgia. They should have beat TCU,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
they,
that was ugly.
but I think he's just got this. I think even more so, he would have had he won a college national championship, he'd have that under his belt. He's still got that obviously that lure of the pro and the Super Bowl is drawing him.
Well, you can't blame a guy for wanting to improve himself if that
No.
Happens to go to the, especially now with players going into these portals and all this other stuff. It's
Right.
like we're just prone. That's kind of the way.
Look, the Bo and
Business
Woody
works.
years are gone. I mean, and how college football existed at that time, that's a gone era. It doesn't exist
Without a doubt.
anymore. Yeah.
No, I don't fault the guy for wanting to follow whatever his dream is and whatever his priorities are. I just think it probably would have been nicer if he hadn't promised he was never going
Right.
to do that.
Well, I'm not going to do that
Well,
anymore.
you know how sometimes you
Yeah.
say things and then you're like, I wish I wouldn't
probably
have said
should've
that.
Yeah, that's why I like newspapers better than radio. I had a little bit more chance to say, do I really want to say that?
Well,
Hey,
well,
let me call
that's-
you back
yeah.
before that goes to print.
Oh, Rich, there was never a time that we were on the radio that we said things we regretted. Never once.
Never ever.
Not once, eh? I
Well-
got to tell you, I didn't get interviewed much on the radio, but I couldn't believe how bad I sounded. I mean, when I was doing ums and ahs and half sentences on the typewriter or the keyboard, I
Right.
could go back and erase those.
Yeah. Yeah, well. So, we saw a story this week. SEMCOG's putting out their draft forecast for population, well, just growth in general, development across the 7-county region. Livingston County, not a shock, expected to lead in the growth rate over the next 30 years, heading into 2050.
Yeah, when I saw that number, I'm going, okay, they're expecting another, 27,000 or 23,000?
40. It's actually 44,000 additional residents between now and 2050, something like that,
And
around
then
that number.
First thing that
Yeah,
went to
somewhere
my
between
mind,
somewhere between 0 and a million.
Yeah,
Right?
in
I
there,
mean,
right in there, you'll find it. Yeah.
but just seeing those numbers and then seeing the year 2050, and I started like going, okay, how old am I going to be by that time? And I don't even want to think about that.
If man is still alive. Remember that song in the year
Yeah.
25? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is. There's nothing, at one time, there was nothing more Livingston County than talking about how we were the fastest growing county in the state. That's
Right.
something you say, welcome to Livingston County. By the way, we're the fastest growing county in the state. Which, buzzkill that I am, I don't think that was ever technically true. I mean, there were bigger base counties that would have more individual people like Macomb or Oakland, or smaller base counties like up north where they'd have bigger percentages. But that being said, Livingston County's growth rate was strong and steady for decade after decade after decade. And even now in southeastern Michigan, where the population for a long time has been flat, if not declining, Livingston County continues to grow. So it's a story. In fact, adding 47,000 over the next
I think it was
30
like
years,
44,000, roughly. That was the number.
which is not a huge number, compared to how fast we were growing.
Right, and that's the thing.
Fast compared to anybody else.
Right, and that's the thing you have to look. It's the rate of growth. It's not the number of residents who will. Because counties like Oakland is going to see far more
But it's a bigger
additional
area.
residents. It's just the
Yeah.
growth rate itself will be lower. And actually, but it's not an insignificant amount.
No.
Livingston County it's almost double the rate for Oakland County, the growth that they're going to see.
Well, it was bigger than the rate of Washtenaw, wasn't it?
Right,
I think I
right.
saw your stuff.
So-
yeah, which is pretty amazing. So
it's phenomenal growth. But I mean, when you look at, and so for instance, they said Handy Township was going to have, of all the municipalities in Livingston County, Handy Township would have 45% growth between now and 2050.
But see, when you look at 44 or 45% of what they have now and the growth by
that's
45%,
from a base of a few thousand
it's
people.
2,500.
Right?
It's about 2,500 additional people. But I mean, Handy Township, it's still fairly rural, and
hey, we're going to need internet service.
But the interesting,
they probably had to put in a subway. Aren't they?
now the only municipality in Livingston County that's expected to see a drop in the next 30 years was Iosco Township. They're going to see a 0.7% drop, which means there'll be 28 less people in the township by 2050.
And they're all moving to Handy.
Apparently, that's
they've got solar power coming there.
They're going to have to build. They're going to have to build a wall there to stop that migration.
But the reaction to this, some of the reaction I saw to this was, almost instantaneously, people were the old paradigm of you people coming out here trying to change our community. Get out of here,
you hipsters.
Don't turn us into a Canton.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You can leave your money, but if you could just not be here, that'd be great.
I find that some of the same people saying don't do that are fall into a couple of camps. One is they're people who moved here in the last 10 or 15 years.
That's right.
And second, they're the ones saying, how come there's not more Indian restaurants? How come we don't have an Indian restaurant?
Yeah, we got it. We got enough Mexican restaurants. Why are there not more Indian restaurants?
I think you're totally right about that. That there is why aren't there more, and you're like, well, I can say for sure that there's. I could say for sure, based on these numbers, I am not going to be opening up an Indian restaurant in Iosco Township. No. I'm not going to do it. I just don't see it.
Well, they're going to lose 25 people.
I mean, they're going to lose 28 people over the next 30 years. I can't do that. That's 10. That's 10 people a year. I mean, that's a person a year.
That's a person a year. Oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah. Well, it's funny, and I don't mean to pick on my Democratic friends, and I do have a couple, but they always like they need to push hard for some sort of platform to try to get votes in Livingston County at the local level. And one of their continued arguments is, we just we brag about a low tax rate, but we don't have services, and because we don't have services, nobody's moving to Livingston County, which just flies in the face of reality. Lots of people are moving to Livingston County. We're one of the few counties that shows continued growth.
Right. I mean, there's no denying that essential truth is that the county, and look, that notion that Livingston County is the fastest growing county, I mean, that's been the case for how long? A long time.
I came here in the 70s, and I think there were only 60 or 70,000 people. So that's how rapidly it's been growing. There was one traffic light on Grand River Avenue between Brighton and Fowlerville, I think, So no, it's
bye, Cricky.
yeah.
And if you time it just right, you won't get stopped.
Well, wasn't that light though a flashing light?
Well, after 11 o'clock. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't need the highway. I took Grand River all the way to Lansing.
I think one of the things
the river.
Yeah, one of the other interesting things about that, and this is just a forecast, but generally they seem to be on target. The population, I mean, while Livingston County's population is going to be seeing an increase over these years, Michigan as a whole is going to be seeing a decreasing population. So many people are moving to Livingston County, but overall, people are just leaving the state altogether. And the population's also getting older.
Yeah.
As we approach 2050, we're going to have a much higher percentage of folks that are like 55 plus.
We'll need more AARP availability at these restaurants and stores.
Yeah.
Now, be careful what you say about AARP. That's a pretty snazzy little publication they put out.
That's right. Well,
but here's something I just saw. I do get, God help me, a regular email alert from AARP. And one of the things that just happened to come up this week was Michigan ranks third in the country last year in states that retirees were moving to.
Wow. What do we have for the retirees to move here for?
Well, they didn't get into detail, but one of the reasons retirees were moving last year was because of inflation and housing costs. So Michigan was perhaps attractive because of lower housing costs.
Well, that's interesting because
which is not a great reason to be attracted to people. That means
Right.
your economy's down. You know?
Well, and I know that that I find that idea that retirees are moving here because Michigan now has well, at least for now, has the tax on retirement savings or pension tax. That the Democrats, who are now newly in charge of the legislature, say that's one of the things they want to target to get rid of. So as we get and that's the thing, as our population gets older, obviously people vote their own interests. And as we get older, your interests change. The voter that you are at 21 is much different than the voter you are at 51 or 61 or 71. And so the priorities are much different. And
that was one of the things the article warned people about. This was like a 1-year blip because of the inflation costs. That going for housing costs in and of themselves can be misleading because you might walk into a state with high property taxes, for instance.
Right.
And but I think you're going to see an aging of America anyway because the birth rate isn't keeping up with the death rate.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why we should be encouraging immigration, because it fills in some of the gaps in our demographics, where we are an aging county, an aging state, and I think an aging country.
Do you think with the aging of the county, we're going to see more Del Webb-like communities? Because you look at the growth out here.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
more retirement type.
That was great. I think I can release this information now because it was given to me under the vow of secrecy about 15 or 20 years ago. But there was a look at doing a Del Webb community out in the Fowlerville area.
Right.
About 15. It never went anywhere, but you could. I think you're going to see more smaller types of things, condo developments, places where people can come out and have a home and not have to spend a lot of time and money on
doing the landscape and all. Doing the artwork.
Yeah. I just that it leads to a bigger question though. Is anybody going to sit here and imagine what type of community, 250,000 people nearly, with probably decent educational levels, decent income levels. We're already the highest medium income household level in the state. What type of community should that look like? Is it just going to continue to be what we are now, or are we going to have more services, or I don't know, an entertainment center? I'm not sure what it will be, but
right.
Or do you just let the market determine it, and
you kind of move
people
where you
will
need
build
to move.
what's necessary.
Yeah.
Well, to that very point, looking at this report from SEMCOG, it speaks to this directly. It says the labor shortage problem will persist due to a low population growth and an aging population. Population natural growth will become negative after 2043, meaning more deaths than births. It is also questionable if migration can return to the pre-pandemic level. Labor force growth or the lack thereof will continue to set the speed limit for economic growth.
John, again, this sounds suspiciously like research.
Damn it.
You had to pull out the phone and get some research from your own article. We can't have that. This is the less know.
I was told there'd be no math.
Damn it.
Because I thought, when I mentioned the Del Webb community, I'm like thinking, okay, are we going to have a Villages of Michigan here where we'll have all of us driving around in our golf carts, having parties like we're college seniors? Only we'll just be senior citizens, but
it doesn't sound like a bad world.
See, that's the thing. The priorities change as you age, because it wasn't that long ago that I saw something like the Villages. I'm like, look at all those old people, and now I'm like, hey, that looks kind of fun.
Stan Luttrell, God bless him, the late judge from Livingston County, he told me once that retirement was like college, only with money.
Really? Exactly. That's what the Villages was like when my in-laws lived down there. When they had a place, you're like, wow, this is really cool. All they do is party. They go to their little their Michigan club thing. They all have golf carts and they golf all the time, and they have activities that can keep you busy and get you into trouble. And Viagra was at a top.
Well,
top
you know, the
seller there.
STD rate at
Well,
the
that
villages
was
is
true.
pretty high.
It like led the nation at one time. I think that's zip code.
Exactly. we lead Viagra sales and STDs. Congratulations.
Well,
My
you
goodness.
know. Well, see, now we
See,
got
it
back on
sounds
track.
like fun.
Yeah, we got back on
Doesn't it?
track with this conversation. I'm good. I'm glad. We moved away from research and got to STDs. So,
I'm quite proud of us. Nice.
oh,
turnout.
yeah, we really are.
Condom sales have just skyrocketed
So.
in Livingston County.
The villages of Iosco. See that?
Wow. Wait a minute. Give me a new series.
It really does.
Yeah.
The real granny lives of Livingston County.
Oh my
geez.
gosh.
All right. Well, did we learn anything?
No, well, I started to, and then you shut me down,
right,
so I
good.
think we're okay.
Yeah, I apologize for that, but I think you'll thank me.
No, you're
No,
right.
you're-
You're right. That's not what this is about.
That's right.
So, all right. Well, interesting stuff. And, when we talk next week, I guess we'll
We'll find out if Harbaugh has
we'll
another
see if
job.
Harbaugh's got the job yet, or
I thought
he might be another one leaving Michigan.
Literally, I thought he had friends with Indianapolis with Ursi.
Well, he was looking at Indy. He's looking. Carolina came up. I mean,
Yeah.
it just.
Right.
But it sounds like Denver's pretty serious right now.
We shall see.
You know, Bob Seger had a song once that "Get Out of Denver."
Right.
So I'm not sure how to make that one work with him, but the Broncos will not become my favorite team. I'll say that.
Maybe you could edit together two Seeger songs. I'm going to Kathmandu and get out of Denver, and it's just I'm going to Denver. You just sort of cut those two songs in together.
Yeah, just
Mike saying
remember, Harbaugh, Wolverine fans never forget.
All right. Well, there you go. It's The Less You Know with Rich Perlberg. Thank you, Rich. Appreciate it.
You're absolutely welcome.
All
All
right.
right, we'll talk to you
Take
next Thursday, Rich. Thanks. All right. Yep. A lot of fun as always, and yeah, we didn't learn a darn thing.
We know. Well, like I said, you shut me down. So.
I didn't mean to shut you down.
No, that's okay. You're right. I got into research, and it's like, all right, he's nerding out. Somebody's got to intervene here.
I just got a text from or an email from our friend Nicole.
Wait
at
a minute.
Spirit of Livingston.
Do we have sound?
I think. so,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
think
Oh,
we
I
have
didn't
some.
know. Sometimes
No,
when
this is
Nicole
about
texts,
our new logo for
All right.
behind us.
Okay.
We're looking at something new.
we're
so
upgrading the logo new for
yeah,
2023.
new for 2023. So we have some possible additions.
All right,
that
let me
are away.
let me take a
Let
look.
me double check and make sure I didn't get a text that. Nope, that's not anything that has to do with the show.
okay.
So we do have audio,
right.
and things are going well
Oh, did she
as
email,
far as we
maybe
know.
she emailed me?
You might have been on
Or
the
she
email
just
list, Russ.
emailed you.
I don't
Apparently,
think
you're
so.
the only one.
When it comes to your automobile, the folks to turn to are Murphy's Family Auto. Turn to Murphy's for all your automobile repairs and vehicle maintenance needs. They've been around since 2011. Yeah, they were once new too, but now they've got the experience and the talent to take care of everything you need when it comes to your automobile. Call Murphy's today, 517-552-3040. They're even open on Saturdays from 8 to 1 for your convenience. If you tell them Mike and John sent you, if you walk in and say, hey, I'm here because Mike and John said to come here and get my car worked on, you'll get 5% off your bill. So stop by Murphy's Family Auto. You can find them online, murphysfamilyauto.com.
That's right. Murphy's Family Auto, your car knows.
Your car knows more than you think it does. So be careful what
Well,
you do in
yeah,
that car.
you know, it's got those, it's got a little black box pretty much. Like, you know, it records like your speed and stuff like that. And they can,
And
they
the
can
newer
subpoena
models?
that. They can subpoena that, you know.
The newer models can record you as you sing and put it out on the internet. Just keep that in mind.
Well, that's called the new Corden.
Yes.
The James Corden model.
Yes, it is.
So got that to look forward to.
2-cent history lesson for today. Today is January 12th. It's brought to you by Oakland Insurance, Drew Goebel and Company. Today is Kiss a Ginger Day. Either somebody named Ginger or somebody with red hair.
I think
Or
they
a
mean
combo of both.
I think they mean red hair. But I don't know anyone named Ginger that isn't a ginger. I don't know. When
Well,
I think about it,
I do.
I mean, we think
Because
of Ginger, we immediately think
You
of
go to
course,
Ginger,
you know, Ginger
Grant,
Grant.
from, us old folks of Gilligan's Island. But,
We're so old. I'm ready for the villages right now.
but really, Ginger comes from Virginia. Someone named Virginia, and that person could go by.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
See, you learned something.
Wow,
from me
this
today. How
is
about
this
that,
is
huh?
pretty nice.
Yeah,
All right.
Virginia or Ginny, Virgil,
Okay.
Virgin, Ginger. Kiss a Ginger Day.
By the way,
It's also National Marzipan Day.
I don't like marzipan. It is. Well, isn't that the stuff they use in fondant. That the stuff they use on cakes where they mold it and they can make all and it's edible, but it's like I thought that was marzipan. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I thought marzipan was hard bread, but I could be wrong too.
I don't know.
It's also National Pharmacist Day.
I don't know anything.
Be kind to your pharmacist. It's a legal drug dealer.
Yeah, marzipan is a confection consisting primarily of sugar, honey, and almond meal.
But it's like really hard, isn't it?
Yeah,
you bust
you're
your
right.
teeth on
But
that. So
yeah, it's often made into sweets.
it's also National Work Harder Day. We're not really celebrating that here on the show.
No, we don't. We don't do that.
1906, the Professional Football Rules Committee legalized the forward pass. 1906.
It was illegal before that.
Oh, that's an illegal maneuver. Yeah. We're going to have to throw a penalty on it. Can you imagine how boring football would be without the forward pass?
Well, and if I recall, it took like more than a decade for teams to finally really embrace passing. Like, even though they made it legal, teams were still just running it up the middle, you know? So, yeah.
Amelia Earhart in 1935 became the first woman to fly solo across the Pacific. 1935 on this day. Did she wear a scarf, John King?
She had to have. I think she was in a closed cockpit,
but still.
But, you know, I would have.
Being a pilot.
Yeah. I mean, I wear a scarf just when I get on a plane to go to Florida or whatever. What the hell is this guy doing?
He's wearing an ascot.
That's right.
Well, by the way, you know, we were talking with Jeff from JD's Throwback Trivia.
Right.
I saw a blurb about the new Velma series.
Which he was talking about.
That's what led into the whole Scooby-Doo quiz.
Right.
And I guess this version of Velma isn't like the cartoonish.
Oh, no. That I knew. I'd seen a clip of it, and I was like, well, hello. Oh. Got a little bit of a sexy librarian thing going on there, I see.
Well, hello. 1970, Boeing 747, the world's largest passenger airliner, made its maiden transatlantic voyage. Hop aboard that 747. It was a big old jet airliner,
no, that's true.
from what we understand. In 1980, the Bee Gees' greatest hits was number 1 on the U.S. album chart. Wow. I don't think I had their greatest hits.
I mean, the funny thing about the Bee Gees is
because the '60s stuff was so much different than their.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they have a tremendous career. Everyone immediately goes to Saturday Night Fever, and they had so many hits in that era. But they were stars before that and stars after that.
If you have to give anybody CPR, think "Staying Alive." That's the beat you need. Your little health tip here.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Stand alive. You're doing
stand
alive. That's how you get
Now,
that.
what about Disco Inferno? I'm like,
that wasn't the Bee Gees. We're on the Bee Gees.
I know, you're right. I'm sorry.
1981, it was reported that the White House had expanded its record library by including albums by Bob Dylan, the Sex Pistols, and Kiss. It was 1981. Can you imagine Reagan downstairs throwing on a Kiss album?
I can, actually. Yeah.
Can you?
Well, you know, he was a Beach Boy fan. If you remember, there was that incident where at the July 4th celebration at the mall in Washington, I think it was the first year that Reagan was president.
Yeah.
James Watt, who was the energy secretary, I forgot. Anyway, interior secretary. Why do I know this?
So nerdy, he knows that stuff.
Just so nerdy.
Even the name.
And he was like, "Oh no, we're not gonna have those radicals, the Beach Boys, playing here." And Reagan was like, "We're gonna have the Beach Boys, dudes.
We'll have no Surfing USA in this White House."
And Reagan, who was a former governor of California, is like, "The Beach Boys are fine.
Let's go surfing."
And the Beach Boys played.
Oh, they played.
Oh, they played all right.
All right. Was Reagan listening to the Sex Pistols down in the library?
Of course he was.
I don't think he was.
God save the Queen.
1998, 19 European nations agreed to prohibit human cloning. We'll have none of that.
No.
We have enough of you. We don't need another
one. Of you is plenty.
Yes. 2000, the Supreme Court, in a 5-4 ruling, gave police broad authority to stop and question people who run at the sight of a police officer. It is kind of questionable. You see a cop, you run.
Right.
They might think you're guilty of something.
That would be considered probable cause.
Yes.
But, well.
And finally, in 2005, it was announced that the Strawberry Fields Children's Home, immortalized in the Beatles song, was closing. The home in Liverpool was made famous when John Lennon wrote Strawberry Fields Forever.
Right.
After playing there as a child.
There's a monument. I mean, the building itself is gone, but they put up a monument. And from what I understand, when you go there, you look. They've got like a what's the word I'm thinking of? It's almost like a hologram type crystal, I guess, like picture. When you look, as you turn and look, it shows what it used to look like. And I guess as you turn,
so I guess it is Strawberry Fields Forever.
Exactly.
Then, with that.
Yeah. So it's
even though they closed,
kind of trippy.
Big surprise. And our 2-cent history lesson brought to you by Oakland Insurance. Seek Drew Goebel today for all your insurance needs.
You know, Mike, owning a business, it's a labor of love.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes
it's
kind of tough.
It is a labor of love.
You got to work hard at it.
It says right here, it's a labor of love.
Okay.
So
it does say, you know what?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, thank you.
It does
Yeah.
say that right there.
So,
it is a labor of love.
It's a labor of love.
Yes.
But frankly, you don't want more work, and you certainly don't want your insurance needs to make more work for you. That's why
dragging you down.
Yeah, you don't want to drag it down. Or dragging the line, for that
No,
matter.
you don't. You can depend on Drew Goebel
That's
and
right.
Oakland Insurance.
Call Drew Goebel. Oakland Insurance or Michigan-based Frankenmuth Insurance, 248-647-2500.
All right, coming up tomorrow, we'll have another trivia question tonight. And aren't you stopping by Murphy's Family Auto today?
I am
right about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tonight, we will put up for grabs a gift certificate from Murphy's Family Auto in Thursday night trivia.
Okay.
To get us into the weekend.
Fair enough.
In case you need, we tell you, go to Murphy's. We're going to give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Murphy's Family Auto in tonight's trivia.
So be looking for trivia on Facebook tonight.
That means I got to do that.
Yeah,
Let me write that down.
make sure you write that down.
Mom
Right.
And trivia.
You got a list now.
Things to do.
Right.
All right.
Stop by Bed Bath & Beyond. They're going to have sales. That's what we
They
hear.
never have anything I want.
No, that's true. Right? Yeah.
And the service sucks.
Which is
But other than that, that's a great
kind of why
store.
they're closing.
It could be.
So, all right. Yep. We'll talk to you Friday on Mike and John Got It Going On. Of course, brought to you by Firehouse Doors.
Mike and John got it going on. You've been giggling with Mike and John. Tune in next time and giggle on.